So after that guy and he went through all that, what's been the best experience that you ever had with somebody? Let's flip it to the other end as a
Best
buyer or seller.
experience. In real estate, when somebody asked me, "Do you like real estate?" and I said no. I either love it or I hate it. There is never
Yeah,
balance. As you said, you are either up or you are down. And
yeah.
as you said about your retirement, quite honestly, I believe that the business always comes when you need it the least.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Cynthia Tant with Sip, Sell, Repeat in Real Estate, located here in Pensacola, Florida. And I have the honor today to be able to have a fantastic conversation with Irena Kohler and tell you just a little bit about her. She's a top-selling realtor and licensed international real estate advisor serving coastal North Carolina that's based in Hampstead. Currently holds the Agent of the Year 2022 to 2024. That's awesome. And served as chair of Cape Fear Realtors Global Network for 2020 and 2021. So professional, I actually had the CIPS too. I didn't use it as much as I wished I would have. RSPS, AHWD, those realtors, we understand all those acronyms. And also CNE, which is reflects the advanced training in luxury homes and global property markets. Regularly ranked as one of the top agents in North Carolina, including number 4 ranking in the state for 2024 in our GCI. So welcome to Sip, Sell, Repeat. Tell us a little bit
Hi.
more about you personally than what I just told about your business.
Hi, my name is Irena Kohler. I was born and raised in used to be Czechoslovakia, today Czech Republic. I met my husband 23 years ago in Japan while I was on vacation. He just came back from Persian Gulf. We met and clicked, and then I followed him to Hawaii where he was stationed, and we got married. Our first daughter, Sophie, she is actually turning 19 this Christmas. She was born in Hawaii. Then we relocated to Germany. Our second child, Sherman, son, was born. He just turned 17. And then we moved in 2010 to the Eastern North Carolina. And 2012, our third one was born, our daughter Olivia. And my husband left Marine Corps in 2012 after 17 years. And it was a little bit hard time at the time of finding a job and providing for the family. And I have decided that I would like to take the destiny in my own hands. And I got a crazy idea that I will become a realtor because I was naively believing that all those HGTV shows and all that, that's how real estate works, and I thought I will go with Coldwell Banker because that is one of the largest companies, definitely largest here, with a good name, reputation. And I will sit in the office, look pretty, and people will come and ask me to sell and buy homes. Oh
Oh,
boy.
oh yeah. Okay. You learned
As you
real
know,
quickly
that
that
was
didn't
not the
work.
case.
So, as you thought that was going to be, and as you started getting into, did you have a mentor? I know Coldwell Banker has training, things like that. What really kind of, after all, I know real estate does this. It's like up and down and up and down. And so, what would you think really got you going positively forward in the real estate industry?
In the beginning, I didn't have any mentor. Quite honestly, I was literally flopping there like a fish, not knowing what I'm doing. And what got me going, well, first of all, where I came from, a post-communistic country, and the
Mm-hmm.
way how I was raised, you don't ever quit. The word impossible was and never was and never will be in my
Right.
dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
If I decided I will do something, I go behind it, and I kind of am like a pit bull, so I just don't let go. Also, it was not an option because I didn't want to stack cans in the Walmart or somewhere. I just wanted to make it work, even though I had no idea how. And as I was really flopping there around and nothing happening, because in real estate, in my opinion, you can succeed only two ways in the beginning. You either have a lot of sphere that will give you business,
Right.
or you have a lot of money that you will buy leads and can do the advertising and all the power. Of course, at the time, the social media were not as strong
Yeah.
as they are today. So I didn't have any sphere because I'm a transplant, and I definitely didn't have that money. So after almost a year, I approached one of the top producers in our company, and I said to her, I would like to be on your team. And she says to me, I don't have a team. And I said, well, then create one. And she did. And I was the team. So we were actually two of us working. Well, she was doing her own thing, and I was getting those, leftover leads that she didn't want to process.
Right.
So
Right.
she was giving me that, but I was taking that bottom feeding and grateful for that, and I was working. But most importantly, at that time, it was 2013. At that time, we were in the deep, deep buyer's market. In our area, it actually took over a year to sell a house.
Wow.
And it was really bad. We lived in a military area with a
Hmm.
large base, Camp Lejeune, and
Right.
due to the fact that all those Marines had to rotate every 3 years, that
Right.
was what created also the bigger impact on it, that they had to go and they couldn't sell these homes, of course, because the equity was not there. And it was really a sad time. Anyway, I always wanted to represent sellers. I wanted to represent the homes because I just kind of felt it's like a bride. You make that home ready for that big day when it goes on the market, like you prepare the bride for the wedding, and you do all your best, and then you succeed and you sell it. And that's how I want it in the beginning. But you know how it is when you start. Nobody wants to give you a listing. Those sellers agents usually are more pickier than the buyers agent. Sorry, sellers than the buyers.
Sellers. Right.
And so at the time, we had a lot of expired listings. And that's what I was pretty much going after, knocking on these doors, because I tried cold calls, but you can hear my voice. I was being hung up every single time because they were assuming that I want to sell another extended car warranty, right?
Yeah.
So they hang up on me before I had a chance to say even my name. And so I was knocking on the doors, and that actually worked very well in the beginning. And I had one time, I was sitting in a class, and it was a really, really boring class. We have done all of those,
Yes, we do.
all of us. And I was cruising the MLS. And again, on daily basis, there were properties expiring. And there was one home, Colonial Brick Charmer. Absolutely, I loved that. It reminded so much of home, where I grew up. And I was thinking, I cannot afford to buy this home, but I would love to represent that home, to be part of that home. And that home was on the market, believe it or not, for over 3 years and didn't
Oh
sell.
my
And again,
gosh.
expired.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it was. And so I pulled the tax record, to find the owner, and there was
Mhm.
PO box. Well, that didn't help. So I pulled all his properties. There were quite few of them. I want to say over 30 because he was a surveyor. So I Googled his business address, and during the lunchtime, I didn't eat, and I ran there to the office that I will introduce myself and convince him that I am the person. And I went there, and it was Friday, and this was the only day that they shut the office early, and I
Oh
missed
no.
him. So I came back to the class, and then I was thinking, and then I pulled all those properties that he had, over 30, and then I excluded all the land, and then I excluded all those that he purchased in past 3 years, because I knew the home was on the market for 3 years vacant, so he had to live somewhere, right? So I excluded that, and I had 3 left. Then I put them on the map, and I was thinking, where would I retire? One of them was on the water. So that was it. After the class, I called my husband and I said, feed the kids. I am going to see this seller. And he tried to convince me not to go. He says, honey, it's Friday evening, go home. You can go on Monday. But as I told you before, I am like a
Yep.
pit
Don't
bull. I
quit.
cannot let
Yep.
go. No. And then can you imagine how many realtors would be ringing that doorbell over the weekend? It was
Yeah.
a wild west, and you
Yeah.
gotta be there. So I was blindfolded driving there, arrived to the home, ring the doorbell, he comes and I said my name and pretty much who I am. And that was all. He slammed the door in front of my nose. And I was thinking to myself, that went really well. But at least I tried. And now I can go and I can sleep peacefully that I did all I could. And then he came back and he says, how did you find me? So I told him what I did. And he says, hold on. Then he brought that little rooster, that one that old ladies use for cooking, that the timer that it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So he put it there and he says, you have 2 minutes, go. And then here I was explaining to him why he should be listing one of the most expensive properties in town that was on the market for 3 years and expired with icons of real estate to list with me, who is nobody, who never sold anything. So here I am in my pretty dress and going, and I was so nervous and so stressed, and I was actually shaking. And then the rooster starts kaka doodle doo, and he continues asking all the questions. And then he says, okay, your portfolio on Monday morning at my office. So I went back to my car,
Wow.
called my team leader, the one that put me on
Yeah.
the team, and
Yeah.
I told her what I did. She was laughing, and I said, I got him. Now you bring your portfolio on Monday morning to his office. She did. We got that listing and we actually sold that house in 4.5 months above asking, which was unheard of at that time. And that was the beginning. And then with this sale, I was knocking these doors one after another and getting more and more. And pretty much from that moment, I knew that I'm unstoppable. I started to love what I was doing.
It's been very interesting over the past couple of months is doing the podcast. I've been talking to gals too, and they're going back to the basics. Let's just make cold calls. Let's not necessarily knock on doors anymore, but because everyone's just going to the internet, and so we're still, and I truly believe this, is that we're still in a relationship business. I mean, people to people talking because of purchasing, most likely, especially first time home buyers, their biggest investment they'll ever make. So when you did that, so that kind of like she laughed at you, but it catapulted you into feeling good about real estate. And then, so what were some of the next steps you took? Because sometimes when people first get into to real estate, and especially gals, it's like you're kind of in this uphill battle and you're trying to figure out the ropes and what's going on and things like that. That besides that consistent drive and saying, I'm going to do this, what did you find helped you keep going?
I mentioned to you earlier, I started to last few years teaching classes in our
Right.
company. And
Hmm.
one of those classes I called Roads to Rome, meaning many roads lead to Rome. So it doesn't matter which path you take, it takes you to the success if you do it well. There is really, and that's what I teach in that class, there is no recipe, there is no magic pill. The truth is, I believe, in the beginning, you gotta do what I did, taste one by one until you figure out what is your path, what is your comfort. Because again, there are agents, and one of them in our office, she is one of the most successful agents at our company as well. And she does cold calls for, oh my gosh, almost 2 decades, and it works for her. And look at me, 14 years almost in the business, and I still cannot do cold calls because unless well, locally perhaps because people recognize my name, but the accent is really an obstacle that I had to deal with. And that's why I don't do it. Knocking on the doors, quite honestly, if I had the time, I would still do knocking on the doors. Today, people do these, what is it called, TikToks and all this
Yeah.
craziness on the
Yeah.
social
Social
media.
media.
You know,
Yeah.
I am at my age, I do not like that, don't appreciate it. So therefore, I am not for it, but it works. I know that it works. Some colleagues of mine do that and it works. So I was doing literally step by step. I used to pay when I earned some money and I could afford it. I started to pay leads. I actually separated from the team after almost 2 years. And in 2016, in January, I went on my own. So I'm on my own since 2016. And I started to purchase leads through Zillow at the time. And don't take me wrong, the first year was fabulous. I think that I
I,
spent
yep. I did good with Zillow too the first couple years and then forget it. I just have
they
not.
do the problem with me was, first of all, they change the rules routinely
Yeah.
so often that you have to nonstop give more and more money, at least
Funny.
at that time. I do not know how
Yeah.
it is now because
Yeah.
keep
I
in
don't, I
mind I
haven't
do
done it
not do
either.
that since 2018.
Yeah, me
So
either.
I do not know what Zillow does today, so I do not want to be kind of like patronizing, but at the time
Mhm.
they were changing the rules and you had to nonstop upkeep with it, with the financial cost. And also what I really do not like is having the pipeline of answering all those leads, people who are bored at work and clicking just out of fun, you know, on a
Yeah.
property and they don't even want to buy or cannot buy. It just was draining me. And then I found something that I'm extremely passionate about and that I really love, and I still do it since 2016. I do mailers. And I mail
Really?
post. Oh, yeah. I am actually the biggest. I would not be surprised if I'm the biggest mailer in our entire area. I mail 5,000 postcards every month. And I do 10 months postcards. Then I
Right.
do annual evaluation letter in the beginning of the year. And then now is the time when it's before
Holidays,
holidays.
Christmas.
So
Yeah.
I mail a big calendar. It used to cost
Right.
me around $6,000 to mail these calendars. I was doing calculation this year. It's going to be around 15K, but they work because I get the calls for listing appointment. I go there and my calendar is hanging
Calendars.
on that wall.
Yeah.
So it works. So that's what I do. I also figure out you gotta stand out. So I like to do funny postcards. I like to be smart assy, catchy. I like to
Yeah.
send a message that has a meaning because at the end of the day, they get so much mail and just sold, just listed is not gonna cut it. So that's what I was working on for years. And I really believe that I'm right now really good at it. So that's what I do. Last couple of years, I actually grabbed 2 billboards in our town. Those started to work for me.
Really?
However, again, coming back in the beginning, I didn't believe in it. It was just, I would say, necessary evil when I thought you gotta repeat your presence in social
Uh-huh.
media, in the mailers, magazines, and then a billboard. Just, again, put my name out there. And first, I want to say 2 years, I really didn't have any reaction to the billboard. But then I was thinking, you know what? I gotta put there something again that the people will have a reason to believe. So the moment when I put there my billboard with all those awards that are behind me holding them, I am number one for that year. That's when the phone started to ring like crazy. And then I got a second billboard, and that one I do the fun stuff with it, like my postcard. So every 3 months I change it. It costs me money, of course, but
Oh,
again,
yeah.
you have thousands and thousands of people who drive by every day, and so I do the funny billboard on the other side. And to be honest with you, it's amazing how many people reach out to me, strangers, and they say to me, like comments on my billboard. Like I had one when I was hugging a garden gnome, and we put there gnome one sells homes like Irena Kohler. And then people were reaching out to me, and this is the gnome lady. And so that work again. I do things differently. I like fun with it. I use a lot of animals and catchy stuff. Like I had one billboard where I had just a head of my cat with big ears, and it said, "Thinking about selling? I am all ears." Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it also, the animals attract children. They scream in the car at the parents look, and mission accomplished. So that's what I did. As I said, testing by one. I did Facebook leads, I did
Oh, I
Zillow,
know.
I did
Yeah.
Realtor.com, I did cold calls, knocking on the doors, now the mailers, name it. In my opinion, everybody has to find something that they are really comfortable with, that they will enjoy. And if you do find that right path that you are comfortable, then it's easier for you to do that. And also people have an easier time to trust you.
I absolutely that trust. I think, I mean, as being in the business for so long, I really do have a very solid referral database. And so I have my own, it's my community. I call it Flip Flop Nation. And so we do 4 events, which are big events. I rent out at the baseball. We have a double A baseball team here. So I rent out a party deck. I started it. My mom's 94 now. I started it 5 years ago for my mom's birthday when she was 89. And so then she would throw the first pitch out. She can't throw it anymore, but everybody comes to see Miss Betty. Being here in the South, it's Miss Betty. She's still going strong. And so doing that, we have a spring, hers is in the summer, and then a fall and towards the end of the year. It just depends on, I've been trying to stay as consistent as I can with it. And that has been my biggest thing is especially the baseball game, because I have 200 or 300 people show up for it, and they get a baseball game, they get food, and from just that one situation, referrals are there all the time. I mean, they think of me from the baseball game. But my best referral, or it's been crazy because I also have an Airbnb business or a B&B business, so people coming through the B&B, and I'm in a destination town, beach destination like you are in a sense, in that. So it's been one of the best lead producers for investment properties of people coming in and they want to own a vacation property also. So that wasn't even something I had thought about when I first started the business. And so you just never know what will happen because I mean, as far as billboards, I've never done billboards. I have done the mailers, but not on a regular basis. And I know you have to be consistent with it. And so when you work with Coldwell Banker, correct?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. And so you're working with a bigger company. Do you ever, because I know, don't they have like oh gosh, what's it called? Referral system. Are you a part of that at all or?
They do, and quite honestly, we have so many programs and so many things that Coldwell Banker offers. To be honest with you, I do not know even today what all they offer because I don't use probably not even 10% of what they do.
Right.
Yes, they do different referral programs. I know that right now they have some Zillow team that they do and
Hmm.
all kind of things. We have relocation program, which I had to actually join.
Relocation. Yeah,
Yes,
relocation.
I
That's what I
had
was
to
trying.
join
Yeah.
that because it was a couple of years back. Actually, when I was advertising on Zillow, I was trying to collect a lot of reviews in order that the clients will be more likely clicking on me because the hierarchy, more
Reviews.
reviews
Right.
you have,
Hmm.
higher you go.
Right.
So that's
Right.
when I was collecting these reviews. And then when I left Zillow, actually, then I have learned, did not know either, came on its own, that even if you do not pay Zillow a penny, and I do not pay them a penny since 2018, I am still popping up as #1 recommended realtor depending on my sales and my amount of reviews and quality of reviews. So I actually get a lot of business from Zillow for free. And anyway, people were going through relocation. And then, of course, the relocation gives them two companies that they have to interview the agents and compete.
Right.
And quite commonly, they were picking me because of my reviews and my high position on Zillow or some other websites. And after a while, the relocation director says, "Hey, I need you to join the program because this is ridiculous. We are non-stop referring you per the request, and people who are part of the group, they are not getting it. So I joined, and I do not know how many years now I am part of the relocation program as well. I use it mostly also for referring clients away, but I do not give my clients like blindly to the
Yeah,
system
to the
that they pick
relocation
somebody.
system.
Oh
Yeah.
no, they have
Yeah.
to send me minimum 3 realtors in the area, and I grill those people because I want to make sure that my clients will be very well taken care of. You mentioned earlier that you believe in relationships.
Yeah.
That's how I cannot say that's how I built my business in the beginning because, as I said, I didn't have any
Started from
relationship,
scratch. Yeah.
but I am extremely loyal person, and I build my business and run my business depending on the customer service. I believe that the customer service is priority number one because that makes a difference. We all sell real estate. The only difference is how we do it and what
Do
kind
it.
of customer service we provide. And I am in a small town and that people talk, and I have tons of my business from referrals and from word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I treat my clients and I stay in touch. Even they move to Florida, they move to California, they go across the ocean, and I still keep in touch with them. Actually, I got a phone call 2 weeks ago from a client whose house I sold 4 years ago. And she called me and she says, we are again moving. And I said, oh, it's wonderful. And she says, well, our agent doesn't like you much. I said, why? I do not know her. What are you talking about? She says, well, because we always tell her, Irena would say this and Irena would do this. And we are all the time telling her what Irena would do or say. And I think that she's a little bit annoyed by that. And I had to laugh because she said, we just love the way how you handle the sale, what you all explained to us, what you all taught us. And we have learned so much, and now we know how to do it, and we are pretty much running the rodeo. And then she says, by the way, that's not why I'm calling you. I'm calling you because a buddy of mine will be selling a house, and I gave him your name. So now I am in contact with the gentleman, and I will be selling his house 4 years later, after I didn't talk to her for 4 years. However, the entire 4 years, I sent message for
Right.
every big holiday.
Right.
I sent her a calendar for Christmas, and I wish her a happy birthday. And I sent scratch cards for St. Patrick's Day. And in summertime, I sent Starbucks coffee cards. So even if I do not talk to these people, I stay in touch with them. I don't know, I would say at least 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is crucial, staying in touch. And again, they want to have that feeling that they matter and that you really care about them.
Yeah. I mean, even though there's so much technology now and there's so many reality TV shows and all of our people who become experts in real estate, when yeah, when they come to us and it's like, okay, so you as from an investment standpoint, so you really think you're going to get this whole house fixed in 30 days? Oh yeah, we know we can do it. And so you start to give, and I've been an investor for 30 years now. So it's like, okay, let's just chart this out, and then are you going to flip it? Do you want to do passive income from long term? Do you want to get in the B&B business? Because I have the all of those companies involved, I'm able to help them whichever way they want to go, and so it's a matter of, all right, the thing I'm sure with you too is like, and as I've talked to other ladies on the podcast, is like they come to you for advice and yet sometimes they don't take it. And
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely. Mhm.
it's like,
Absolutely. I had the conversation now actually with a client of mine. He was asking me, what is going on? And I was telling him, and then a client texts me something, and I got a little bit frustrated. And he says, what it is? And I said, well, they interview 7 agents, then they pick me and they tell me, well, we hired you because you have the highest reviews, and you have so many feedbacks and so many sales and reputation, and we think that you are the best for the job. And then when I tell them what to do, they still don't listen. And I'm like, then why did you hire me?
Yeah.
You tell me that I am the best, and then you still do not listen what I'm telling you to do. Well, unfortunately, sometimes you are dealing with this, and sometimes just those people have a hard time to let go, or they just have to learn. And at the end of the day, we are sometimes playing a Russian roulette with their largest financial asset.
Yeah.
And it is a very difficult, I am telling these sellers, because I mostly represent sellers, thank God for that,
Fellows.
especially
Okay.
in this market.
Right.
And I love it. And I would say 90% these days of my business are sellers. And I tell them I sit in this kitchen usually, or dining room, and I am pretty much meeting them first time in my life. And by my presence being there, I am asking them to trust me with their largest financial asset, and they just met me. And this is
Mhm.
very difficult to do, and I understand that. And that's why I approach it that way. And I am trying to always have that presentation done, that I can establish the trust, that I can educate them, guide them, advise them, because at the end of the day, that's my job. Educate them, guide them, and advise them, and give them all the options. They don't have to love them, but they need to know what the options are, that they can make the best educated decision for their family. I have no idea what their goal might be. Not everybody wants to
To
have the
share that.
same. Yeah,
Right. They don't have the
exactly.
same goals. Yeah. Well,
No,
I
they
mean,
don't.
has there been a particular situation that you can remember where you just said, "This is it. I don't think we're going to work together." Is there
Oh.
anything that anything that comes to
I
mind right away?
I actually did this year. I had a young gentleman, military guy,
Mhm.
and Google knows it all.
Yep.
And he told me flat straight, he says, I am hiring you because it was from my old neighborhood. So a lot of neighbors recommended my services. And he also did the research online. And he says, you are really the best. I want to work with you. So we established that. And then we come to the preparation of the home for the
Oh,
market. And
yeah.
then he just argues with me, but he argues with me on every single thing I tell him. And I am like, you do not need to argue with me. I am not the one who you need to convince. I'm not going to be the one who will be buying the home. I mean, like, his HVAC broke, and then
Oh,
he starts arguing that he will not fix it. And I'm like, you need to fix it, because if you don't fix it, then you will have a mold in the home and create way much more problems, and nobody will want to buy a home where HVAC doesn't work and where mold is involved and all
yeah.
of it. And I am like, seriously? And so we argue, and it came to the point that one evening, again, arguments, usually through text message. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I don't ever drop the clients that are
Yeah.
referred to me, because I treasure the clients who are referred to me by another client very much, because they are a gift, and I need to respect and appreciate what the past clients who referred these people, that they did it for me. So I'm like, well, you know what, it was not meant to be, this will just not go. And I told him, I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me, and I'm not the right fit. I guess I am not seeing the things the right way, how you need. Maybe you need a different professional. I really tried. He didn't let me go. He came next day, apologized, and we go again, and then we argue again, all over and all over. And it happened the whole thing to the end. I had to even drag my broker in charge into it. I said, I cannot do this anymore. And she says, just leave him alone, and he will come to it. And then I just ignored all his complaints for a day and a half, and then he came, okay, I will do what you said, and we were done, and we sold the house. But I have to tell you, I was like, I don't get paid enough for that stuff sometimes, seriously.
Well, it so that on that end of it, the frustration, the time it took, someone who wouldn't pay attention to you, and again, was he a Marine?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I married
Okay.
one.
And you
I
married a
married one. I
Marine,
had a
right?
pretty good training.
Right. You married a Marine, yeah. Because
I
I can't.
married one. I have a
Yeah.
pretty good training, but
Yeah.
they listen, Marines, they are a little bit different,
But
but they come like every other line of business in all colors and shades. Some of
Right.
them are amazing people, smart people, kind people, and some of them are less. But you can find this in anywhere. You can find
Yeah.
it in teachers, doctors, name it, realtors. Everybody is different, and we cannot always be a match for everybody. My very good close friend, and I actually retired from real estate after over 2 decades, Ray Ripash, he always tells me, you cannot have them all, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if they don't like you, well, I guess you will not like them either. So just don't worry about it. And that's what I learned. But you asked me how it is in the beginning. In the beginning, this is the hardest part,
Right.
to be able to realize when you cut your losses, when you say, okay, I spent so much time running with this person all over. I showed him 60
Right.
houses. He's still not buying. Do I carry on because I have so much invested time in it, or
Vested.
do I cut it off
Right.
and just, move on? And this is the thing, that when you don't have the funds and you need that commission, it is very difficult. And I know my personal experience, I have been there. Today, I am blessed and fortunate. So if
Right.
I lose a deal or two or five or 10, life goes on and I will not starve. But I would not, from all the times of the real estate, all these phases, as we had the buyer's market, then we were dealing with Florence here, then we were dealing with the COVID situation, the crazy sellers market, and then 2022, you remember, 11 times
Yep.
raising interest rates, going over
Right.
8%.
Yep.
From all, then the lawsuit nonsense about the
Yep.
commission and all
I
that.
know.
So every time you have different obstacle thrown under your feet that you are not ready and prepared for, because nobody trained you for that. From all those times, I can tell you one thing: this year is, in my opinion, the most challenging year of all. And I would not want to start real estate without having financial reserves,
Yeah.
or without having some kind of light in the tunnel that the leads somehow will be coming. It's just really because the fees, you have to pay them, they don't go away. And
Right.
in the beginning, let's be honest, you pass the test, and the only thing that they
You know.
teach you is how to fill up a form. Many of them do
Yep.
not know even that. And then they teach you how to stay out of the jail,
So,
but
yeah.
they don't
Yep.
teach you anything else.
Yeah.
You
No,
have to
that's
learn.
that. Well, and that's one of the things too, as far as a mentorship, or you can, so many people keep attending classes and stuff. I said, but that's not going to get you out there. I tell mine, I said, you want to shadow me around and do me? I'm trying to get out of production, but this year has been really wishy, squishy, weird, whatever. But it's one of my best years, which is like, I'm not even trying to work. That's the crazy part. I'm not even trying to work, and people are calling me, and friends of mine, okay, we're going out looking at beach houses and also the kind of stuff. And I said, okay. I said, that I did have one person say, we thought you retired, because I saw that she used another realtor. I said, you keep getting stuff from me almost every other month, and you were invited to my mom's. Where did you figure that I was retiring? She goes, oh God, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. Some things like, that happens. Like you said, it happens in this industry. So after that guy, and he went through all that, what's been the best experience that you ever had with somebody? Let's flip it to the other end as a
Best
buyer or seller.
experience. In real estate, when somebody asked me, do you like real estate? And I said, no. I either love it or I hate it. There is never
Yep.
balance. As you said, you are either up or you are down. And as
Yep.
you said about your retirement, quite honestly, I believe that the business always comes when you need it the least. We already
Least.
talked about it in the
Yep.
beginning. It's like I have everything lined up. I know that I'm gonna go somewhere, or that I
Right.
need a day break or week easier, and that's when everybody starts
Right.
piling on the last minute. Like last summer, we went to Czech Republic to visit my parents. We were not there since 2018, so it was way past due. And quite honestly, I do not tell any of my clients that I am leaving anywhere, because I have experienced before that a client felt that I abandoned him when I was out of town. So I do not share anybody with anybody, and I was trying to make sure that everybody is lined up, all the homes that go on the market that need to go. And as we were a week before leaving, I got another 3 listing appointments. So that was 3 more homes that needed to go on the market. And then people who were supposed to go on the market for a while, they were delaying, and then pushed it. And then people who were supposed to go on the market a month from now they decided to go sooner. Long story
Right.
short, I had like 7 homes that I was preparing on the market before we were leaving. And my husband is every day, did you list them all? And I am like, no, not yet. And he is like, okay, so it will be one of those vacations.
Vacations.
And I said, yes, that's what it will be. So we left, I was gone 17 days in a different time zone.
Oh
None of
yeah.
my
Yeah.
clients noticed that I was gone. I have listed 3 homes while I was gone. I had pictures taken before I left, and I just processed everything in the system in the MLS while I was gone.
Right.
I put, I think there was 2 or 3 under contract while I was gone, and I got another 2 listing appointments while I was gone. That's all in that 17 days. So pretty much that's how it was. But that's just a reaction to what you said. Business comes when you need it the least. My
Least.
most experience, pleasure experience, I was in 2018, I was in Europe. My husband was working on the military base there for 3 years. And since 2016 until 2019, I was actually living in the US with our 3 little children by
Mhm.
myself and raising the kids and running my business. And every summer, I took kids for almost 3 months to Europe to spend time with him. And at the time I could do it. Now I have sometimes hard time to even leave for the grocery store, but time has changed. I always say be very cautious what you wish for, because I always wanted to be on the pedestal on the top. And sometimes a friend of mine said, everybody wants to wear a crown, nobody realizes how heavy it is. And
Oh,
that's what
that's a good
that's
one.
what it is in this line
Yeah.
of business. Anyway, so I'm in Europe, and then a lady calls me and says that her home expired and the listing expired, and that she would like to interview me, and that I can highly recommend it. And I
Oh.
said, I'm sure that they do, but not everybody will be selling your home. And she laughed and gave me a couple more threats. And then she waited. And then I came back. The next day I was there. I got the listing. It was actually right after Florence. And we put it on the market right after Florence. It was wintertime. I sold at home in a matter of few days at full asking price in January. And she's a Dutch, and she was raised in Bali and Indonesia.
Mhm.
And we become very close friends.
Right.
And from that moment, we still stayed friends. From that moment, she actually calls me or texts me routinely. Hey, Irena, there is that lady that is going to move with her family and whatever, and I need you to go there. And I need you to talk to her about selling her home. And she always signs herself, your little Dutch spy. And that's what she sends me. And I love this tiny Dutch spy. She's now 85 years old,
Oh, wow.
and I actually saw her today. And it was a very little bit sad visit because her husband passed a couple of days ago. And
Oh,
she is one of the sweetest people that I have ever met. And I have found in the real estate a friend for life. And I am
yeah.
very grateful for it. And I had a couple other ones like that, but this was probably one of the first, the most heartbroken and enjoyable experience. How she was giving me grief and not exactly yelling at me, but chasing me that I will
Right.
not get
Right.
that business if I don't come hurry on her timeline. And then she
Right.
waited for me. I did the mission accomplished us. She wanted actually even better. And then we become so close friends. And that is for me extremely valuable because again, real estate is about relationships.
Yeah.
I have met so many people that I become so close. I
Close to
do have business from friends, but I must say mostly I get business and then I gain
friends.
friends.
Yeah. Oh,
And that
I
is
agree.
something that
Yeah.
is very valuable to me. Yes.
I think everybody in this business experiences that, and kids and everybody grows up, and yeah, no, that kind of stuff. This has been such a pleasure. I know that you're dealing in a military community. I'm dealing in military communities, Navy here, and I just want to say thank you so much. And I hope the ladies that are listening to you and what you've gone through will also relate to that and get with you. If you're inspired by these powerful women in real estate, you'll want to catch the next conversation. Click the video on screen to keep sipping, selling, and leveling up your game.